What's up, everybody? Again, it's Levi from freesalesadvice.com, and thanks again for tuning in. If you find this video helpful, please like and share it, and also leave comments below. So just got out of my last call for the day. Had 4 appointments today and did not close this one. So actually closed 2 out of 4 today, which is not bad. I prefer 3 out of 4. I mean, actually I prefer 4 out of 4, but 3 out of 4 is really ideal, but 2 out of 4 still good. Again, the other one I did not close, as we've discussed. I booked a follow-up appointment from that appointment, so at least I got something on the books for that. Now this one was a tough cookie. So this person, she was 46 years old, only been working for 8 years, and basically took off the first half of her adult life to raise her family, is what she said. So she's already kind of starting in the hole, but we determined by her primary retirement that 64 was going to be her ideal retirement age, but she's probably only going to recoup about 60% of her income. So that's where I introduced options that we could make up the other 20, 30, possibly 40%, depending on how aggressive she gets, which is possible. You know, at age 46 to retire at 64, 18 or so years left to work. Okay, she's got to do some crunch mode, but if we can get to replacing an additional 20%, so it gives her a total of 80% of her income, then that's ideal. So went through those discussions with her. She didn't really understand her primary pension plan at all, so I clarified some things on there that I think really put her mind at ease. And then I moved into setting up that additional retirement account on the 403B side. Well, we had a good discussion, but I could also tell she had that look and demeanor of just being on the defensive. And that's something, again, I can read my clients pretty well, and I saw that coming out from the beginning, so I was really trying to break that down and put her at ease. And she just really did not open up that much. And come to find out, her previous job was at one of the local colleges through UT Southwestern, actually, and she's a cancer researcher. So very, very analytical. And a lot of times, I mean, analytical people are they're tough to crack. I mean, you've really got to work your way through that barrier a lot of times. So knowing once she told me what she did, you know, that's the conclusion I could come to at that point. Is that's the other thing. When you ask people about what they do or what they previously did or what they focused on or where they were working before, that's point number one. You get into a discussion with them. So that's the first point of today's video. You get in that discussion with them, understand where they've been, where are they coming from as far as work, even maybe where they grew up, and you start to get a really good idea of your client. But if they're in the new field and they tell you they're early on in their career, then that should trigger you to ask about what did they do in the past. And when she says a cancer researcher, then I know, okay, probably I'm going to assume, but at the same time, assume but verify. And that's point number 2 right there. Assume but verify. I assume she was very analytical, and actually she came out and told me a little bit later on in the conversation that she is analytical, but I got that whenever she kept saying, well, I need to see the numbers. And I said, okay, well, let me show you some numbers. And I said, let me guess, you're very analytical. So I just kind of threw it out there, and she said, yes, absolutely. So when you know you're working with a numbers person, again, being able to get in the weeds with them, this is that person where you want to get in the weeds with them. So I don't do it with 95% of my conversations or meetings, but this person, if they're in that situation, they want to get into the weeds and the numbers, I'll do it. I'm happy to do that. But you got to know your stuff, and you got to know if you're working with your software or an illustration, whatever it is you're running the numbers, you better be able to explain every single thing on that illustration, especially if you show it to them. If you show them your computer screen or write out some numbers for them or something like that, you better have a really good understanding, because if they point to something and say, hey, what's that? Well, and you say, I don't know, it's not going to give that person a lot of confidence. And that's the thing. You have to instill confidence in your client. Point number 3 right there. Instill confidence in your client that you are an absolute expert at what you do. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. People are going to buy from who they trust. And if you've got a limited window, like I usually have 30 minutes, maybe 45 to an hour for my initial meeting with that client, but I still average between 60 to 75% closing ratio, because I understand how to establish rapport and say the right things to get them to trust me that quickly within that short of a time frame. So that's the difficult part. Once you start to really get good at that and master that, your closing ratio is going to jump up. So, average representative with us at least is around 30 to 35% closing ratio. And when somebody says, I need to make more money or I want more business, the first and easiest thing to do is to increase your closing ratio. Well, how do you do that? It's by knowing your stuff and being able to build trust and rapport very, very quickly with that client. So this one was tough though, and we all get them. I get them. I mean, I'm not here trying to say I'm the toughest, best, closer there is. I'm pretty good, but there's some people that even I can't crack. So, she was very much on the defensive, sitting back, arms crossed, not usually a good sign, just giving me the head nods, no real good feedback, short answers. And that's just tough to develop that conversation with that person. And sure enough, at the end of it, then I didn't close it. And actually at that point, because she started to kind of shoo me out of there, and that's another problem, is I failed on trying to schedule a follow-up with her. And so I can't really say why I skipped out on that, or I said let's do that. I just mentioned that I will follow up with her. I did give her a card. She said she was going to talk to her husband. I said, well, look, the best thing to do is let's talk to your husband. Let's get you together. That's something else. If somebody wants to bring in their spouse, I'm always going to say, well, let's get them together. And the funny thing was that she did mention, oh, you came on a crazy day. This is a crazy week. We're finishing up with finals and everything. And I'm thinking, you requested the appointment. Now, that's what I was thinking. I'm not going to say that. I'm never going to say that to the client, but that's what I was thinking. But at the same time, so she requested that meeting. I'm going to be there. And then she tells me it's a bad time and started shooing me out there again, because I work in these schools and these environments where I go back multiple times. I've got to maintain my relationships and make people comfortable. So, if I start to get shooed out of a room or something, I tend to just kind of ease out, and I throw some more one-liners in there as far as trying to get them something to chew on, to think about. So other than that, I kind of bombed out on that one, but it happens from time to time. But for the day, 2 out of 4 new clients, one with a possible large rollover, and the other client, I do have a follow-up with her and the potential for a meeting with her husband and the potential for the new employer she's going to work with to possibly set them up with a retirement account. So always an opportunity in whatever type of meeting you're doing, even if you don't close it. So again, that's it for today, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. If you found value in this, please like and share. Also, if you have an issue that you're dealing with, you have a tough client or having trouble closing a certain deal, or just kind of stuck, or feel like you're spinning your wheels on follow-up or something like that, leave us a comment. Go to our forum page and put it in there. Let this community help you out. That's what we're here for. All right, guys. Thanks again. And ABC.